So, hello, finalists. Welcome to our webinar, Next Steps for Finalists. My name is Selena, and I'm a program associate here at QuestBridge. And as a QuestBridge alum, I'm so excited that you are here to learn more about your next steps. This is a really exciting time. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, congratulations. We are so proud of you. We are excited to announce that we selected 7,026 finalists. Becoming a finalist is a really significant achievement, a moment to really soak in your accomplishment. Now, we know that the next couple of weeks are going to be busy with lots of information coming, so we want you to stay connected. First, join the finalist community group on Facebook. Remember that this is only for finalists, not your parents or guardians or any other friends. Check your email for a link to join. We're excited to see how eager you are, how many of you are already to join the group. So just be patient with us as we review requests to join. Make sure that you answer all those membership questions so that it makes it really easy for us to approve your request. We are going to go through this request as soon as we can. And you'll actually see me in that group sharing reminders and resources throughout the cycle. So if you are able to join us, please do feel free to do so. But I do want to note that joining this group is completely optional, and all essential information is shared through our other means of communication like email or social media platforms. So if you can't join the group for whatever reason, you are totally fine. You can also sign up to receive Quest text by going to your application manage page under your application manage page and looking at that top right-hand corner. You can also follow us on social media, specifically our Instagram, which is @QuestBridge. We've been highlighting, important reminders and resources over there, so definitely feel free to stay up to date there. And finally, be sure to check your email regularly, as we will continue to send you very important information about the upcoming process that you should not miss. And you may also receive messages from the schools that you've ranked very soon. All right. Now we'll be covering the following topics today. First, we're going to go over what it means to be a finalist, including how you stand out and what opportunities become available to you by being a National College Match finalist. Then we'll cover your next steps, specifically as you look to focus on match requirements or QuestBridge regular decision requirements. We also know that over the course of the next week and a half, hundreds of you will be working on supplemental essays, and we want to take some time to share our tips and tricks for tackling these supplemental essays. After that, we'll talk about what your options will be after match day, and then close out with some frequently asked questions and some time for just general audience questions as well. All right, now I'm going to remove myself from the screen so that you can see the slide a bit bigger, but I'm still here. All right, let's keep going. So, being a finalist, let's learn more about the benefits and the opportunities that are available to you. So first, being a finalist means that we at QuestBridge have, we reviewed your application and eligibility and felt that you could be a strong applicant to our college partners. You also benefit from using an application that is specifically designed to highlight your unique experiences, and we saw that by reading your applications. As a QuestBridge finalist, your application fees to our college partners are waived. So you can imagine that if you had to pay to apply to every single one of our college partners that you've ranked, or even the ones that you plan to apply to through QuestBridge regular decision, it would come out to hundreds of dollars. So you do save a lot of money. And it is also important because only finalists, and more specifically, only finalists who rank, are considered by our college partners for early admission with that full 4-year match scholarship. If you are not matched and you are later admitted to a college partner through regular decision, you can still receive really substantial financial aid from the colleges that you were admitted to. And all of our college partners do guarantee to meet 100% of demonstrated financial need. If you ultimately decide to enroll in one of our college partners, whether through the match or through QuestBridge regular decision, you join the QuestBridge Scholars Network. This is a growing community of students from across the country who share common experiences, a commitment to giving back, and a dedication to academic and professional development. After you graduate, you'll join the QuestBridge alumni community and join all the scholars who have graduated. Now, just as a reminder, finalists should eventually research regular decision, early action, and/or early decision options for after the match. Keep in mind that you cannot apply early action or early decision right now as you await match results if you are ranking colleges, except for a few exceptions. But many of these opportunities will be available after you are notified on December 1st. We'll share our early application policy in the chat now. Most importantly, I want to emphasize that being a finalist does not guarantee admission to a college partner. All finalists should make additional application plans, whether you are ranking schools or not. We encourage all students to apply to a wide range of schools that you feel it is likely for you to be admitted to. I also want to highlight what becoming a finalist means as it relates to your future. This is a significant achievement that opens the door to opportunity not just right now, but throughout your life. Finalists who attend a Questbridge College Partner get to join a supportive campus community through the Questbridge College Network, which will offer you opportunities for leadership and meaningful engagement. You will also be able to participate in our Questbridge Alumni Mentorship Program, where Questbridge scholars and recent graduates are matched with an experienced Questbridge alum to help with the transition to your next steps, whether that's after graduating college, like going to grad school, or trying to find jobs or anything like that. You also get to explore summer professional experiences and career opportunities that are exclusively available to Questbridge scholars and alumni with our company partners. And you can apply for full tuition scholarships for graduate school, including pursuing an MBA, which is a business degree, at top business schools, or advancing your medical career in medical school. Now let's talk more about next steps for finalists so you can understand what your to-dos are in the next couple of weeks. Now, before we dive into the details, I'm going to quickly review the big picture timeline of the National College Match. You've already successfully submitted your National College Match application and ranked colleges. So let's move farther down the path. So we selected you as a finalist. So we forwarded your Questbridge application to the schools that you've ranked. For finalists who are ranking colleges, that brings us to today, when finalists are preparing to submit match requirements and waiting for match day. From here, you want to get to November 1st, which is a very important day. If you're ranking colleges, there are two things that are due by November 1st. Your match requirements, which are submitted directly to the college partners, and a revised rankings form if you want to make any changes to your rankings, including removing a school or rearranging the order of schools that are already on your list. In addition to your Questbridge application that you already submitted, college partners require additional materials, and these are called the match requirements. We'll talk more about this in a bit. However, match requirements need to be submitted directly to the colleges that you ranked by November 1st, or earlier if possible. If you feel like you will not be able to submit something on time, you'll need to reach out to those schools directly, as they might be flexible. If you have already sent some of your materials or would like to check the status, you'll want to wait at least until a few days before reaching out to the schools that you've ranked, just to allow them some time to get all of their finalists set up in their own systems. Like I mentioned, November 1st is also the deadline for your optional revised rankings and updated match agreement form. Revised rankings mean that you can rearrange or remove, but not add any new schools. For those of you who want to make changes to your rankings, you will have until November 1st to do so, and you'll need to get another signature from your counselor on this form. If you are not ranking colleges, you will not need to submit a revised rankings form or a match agreement form. Be very careful if you make any changes. This is your last chance, and you cannot make any more changes after this. You can only submit one revised rankings form, and you will need to download and obtain signatures for an updated match agreement form and resubmit that form just like you did the first time. If you don't want to make any changes, then you're all set. Remember, this step is optional. If you do not want to rearrange or remove colleges, no action is required. You can leave your rankings as is, and you should not submit the form or upload an updated match agreement form. After November 1st and throughout the rest of November, the colleges that you ranked will be reviewing your application and additional materials for admission. Now let's take a moment to break it down even further. This is for ranking finalists specifically. So as a reminder, match requirements are the additional materials that each school you rank will need to consider your application complete. This will vary from school to school and will be due by November 1st directly to the schools that you ranked. We've created some tools to help you keep track of everything, like our college partner pages, which are available on our QuestBridge website. You'll see that each school has a section dedicated to match requirements. You'll also find that there are checklists available on your Manage page in the Rankings and Regular Decision tab. These are optional tools that you can use, and whether you check something off in this form does not mean that a school has received it or that you have officially sent it. It is just a tracking tool for you to use. We also have a match requirements tracking tool that is also available on your Manage page. And this will create a lovely chart that will visualize everything that you have due to the colleges that you have ranked. And again, these are just optional tools that you can use to help you keep track of all this information. I know that sometimes students like to create their own tools like Google Sheets or something like that. So, or use pen and paper, and that's completely okay. So these are just tools that you can use. Now, if you are not participating in the rankings process for the National College Match, your journey will be a bit different. The first main difference is that you will not need to complete match requirements by November 1st. This also means that you do not need to submit a revised match agreement form, like I mentioned earlier. The QuestBridge regular decision form will open on November 4th and will close on December 11th. This means that you have a month to decide which schools you'd like to apply to, and you can get started on some QuestBridge regular decision requirements in the meantime. Once the form closes on December 11th, it'll take a few days for college partners to initiate or activate your applications. You can expect to receive links to their portals and other necessary information in the days following December 11th. Once you've submitted the QuestBridge regular decision form, you can prepare and submit those regular decision requirements. It's important to remember that your application to those schools will not be considered complete until those requirements are submitted. As another gentle reminder, all of these materials must be submitted directly to these college partners, not QuestBridge. Each college partner will provide instructions for accessing their portals if necessary. And for students participating in QuestBridge regular decision, you can also keep track of those QuestBridge regular decision requirements by using the regular decision tracking tool that is also available on your Manage page. And again, like those other tools, this one is also optional. Now let's go through what match and regular decision requirements may look like. We'll share a link to the match requirements guide, which goes a lot more in depth on this in the chat. The first is written materials. This includes things like college supplements, right? This will look different for each school. Some colleges request essays or short answers about, why you want to attend that particular school, or may have other information that they want you to provide. Any writing prompts the school will require will come from and be read by the school. So you should contact the admissions offices directly if you have any prompt-related questions. If you are ranking USC and are planning to apply to any portfolio-based programs, you may also need to fill out the Common Application. This is the only school that requires a Common App as part of your match requirements, and again, only for specific programs. You might also need official reports. This could include things like official transcripts. Although QuestBridge allowed you to submit unofficial transcripts, some colleges will now require that you send them official transcripts. You will need to request that these be sent from your school. Generally speaking, your counselor or registrar will need to submit this for you, so be sure to give them notice before November 1st, especially if you are stressed about getting recommendations submitted on time for the application. Note that some colleges may consider any transcript that was submitted by your counselor to QuestBridge to your QuestBridge application to be official, and they won't require a separate one, while others may require a separate official transcript even if your counselor did submit one. So you'll want to make sure that you review each school's match requirements very carefully. Some schools may also request official test scores. If you choose to submit test scores or apply to a college partner that requires test scores, note that not all schools will require official test score reports. So please be sure to check whether the school that you are applying to require those official or unofficial test score reports. They might also require financial documentation, like FAFSA. FAFSA opened on October 1st, so this is something that you can get started on right away if you're waiting for portal access. If you're not eligible to complete FAFSA, we encourage you to review the school's recommendations and/or contact them directly. This is a case where calling the financial aid office could be recommended. For the CSS profile, fee waivers may be available automatically through the actual application. If you're automatically eligible for waivers, you will be notified of that when you go to submit the form. If your parents/legal guardians are divorced or separated, your non-custodial parent will also need to complete a section of the CSS profile with their financial information. If you do not have contact with your non-custodial parent, or this is not possible, you will need to submit a waiver to the colleges that are required. So make sure to submit this as soon as possible to give yourself enough time in case additional documentation is needed. You might also need to submit copies of your 2024 federal income tax returns. If for some reason this is not available to you, you'll need to reach out to the schools directly and ask what documentation they would like you to submit instead. Remember, this is not a comprehensive list, and there might be other materials. The last thing I want to emphasize is that all of these materials must be submitted directly to our college partners, not QuestBridge. They will reach out with instructions on how to submit specific materials, but if you have specific questions, it'll be best to reach out to those college partners specifically. All right. Now let's talk about tackling supplemental essays and how you can leverage certain strategies or tips to really write supplemental essays that will stand out. First, let's talk about the purpose of a supplemental essay. It is an opportunity for a school to learn more about you, often in ways that allow a school to see how you align with their mission and their values and to determine if their school may be a good fit for you. It often helps a college to see what kind of student you would be on their campus through these supplemental essays. Really, supplemental essays give you the opportunity to showcase your unique personality, your interests, your passions, and your aspirations. It'll help you convey how and or why the college that you are applying to is a good fit for you. And it'll be another opportunity for you to showcase your strong writing ability and your skills. Now, we often get questions about whether it's okay to reuse or recycle your own writing as you're balancing multiple essays. This is more than okay, but just remember that the colleges that you are ranking are going to receive your entire National College Match application. So if you write about one topic, in your if you wrote about one topic in your application already, it might be a good idea to ensure that you are providing unique insights in your supplemental essays and ensure that you're answering each school's prompt effectively. Plus, be sure to proofread. Now, two of the most common supplemental essay prompts we see are the why us, or the why, insert college name prompt, and the why this major prompt. Let's walk through some tips for some of these common prompts. So for the why insert college name, so, why us, right? You'll want to conduct really intentional research about the school to share things that really matter to you, right? So if you are interested in theater, right, and you research a school's theater program, you'll want to make sure that you convey why theater is important to you, why you're passionate about theater. Or, if you're interested in neuroscience and you find that there's a really cool lab you want to be a part of, you have to really convey why that matters to you. So anything that you research, anything that you find interesting about a school, you don't just want to leave that in your essay, you really want to connect it back to you. And that relates to my next point, right? Connect your findings back to you. So whenever you learn something about a school that you find really exciting, convey that enthusiasm in your essay. Why does that excite you? Why does that make you want to attend that school even more? Along those lines, you'll also want to avoid cliches like mentioning a school's prestige, location, weather, or any other surface level insights. I always like to say, avoid sharing things that a school probably already knows about themselves, right? So avoid mentioning things like their rankings or that they have a really strong biology program or a really strong theater program, because those are things that are, they already know, right? Instead, connect it back to you. Why is it important that you attend a school that has a strong theater program or a strong English program, right? Why does that matter to you? Really connecting it back to you will make that essay feel more specific and unique and personable to you. Then there's the why intended major. So why biology? Why Spanish? Why English, right? This is really an opportunity to demonstrate your intellectual curiosity, right? Why are you curious? Why do you want to learn more? A lot of students may often, talk about the career that they want to pursue. Maybe they want to be a doctor, maybe they want to be a lawyer. But make sure that in doing so, you're still connecting to your sense of curiosity, why you want to learn more, right? Don't just view this as an opportunity. Don't just view college as a stepping stone to what comes next, right? To becoming a lawyer, to becoming a doctor, to becoming a teacher, right? But really investigate why it is that you want to learn more specifically. You also want to consider your audience. Avoid going into technical details that may not make sense to someone who is not familiar with that intended field of interest. So let's say that you are really interested in neuroscience and you got to participate in a really cool science experiment, over the summer, right? If you go into the technical details about the science experiment, unfortunately, most admissions officers who are reading your application are not going to be neuroscientists, so they might not understand everything that you're going into. So always ensure that what you are conveying in your essays makes sense to your audience, right? You don't need to go super in depth in the technical details. Instead, really convey why something matters to you, why you're passionate, why you're curious, and that'll tell us more about you, right, than just about the topic that you're interested in. And then also explore ways that you will actually deepen your learning at the college, right? So yes, you're really passionate about biology. You want to become, a biologist one day, but how will you actually deepen that passion while you're at, said college or university, right? Will it be through professors whose research you align with? Will it be through certain labs that are available at a school or through learning experiences that are available at a school, right? Explore ways that that will allow you to really deepen the learning for that particular topic or major. Now, lots of schools will have very fun and unique supplemental essay prompts as well, and these tips are still applicable to a lot of those. At the end of the day, embracing specificity, detail, and your own personality and voice in your essays will help bring your writing to life. My final tip is that you want to make sure that your essay also feels unique to the school that you've written. If your essay could apply to any other school with that same program, your essay might be too generic, and being more specific and detailed could help bring it to the next level. Now, all that being said, I don't want you to just take it from me. I want you to actually hear from experts. Right, so the following advice that I have here on the screen is from current QuestBridge staff members who spent many years reading college applications at some of our college partners, including supplemental essays. And this is the advice that they wanted to share with you today. So Callie Jacobs, she used to work as an associate director at the University of Chicago, and she shared, "I like to save supplemental essays for last when reviewing applications because it felt like a treat to have this vulnerable, symbiotic space where a student could speak specifically to why this institution, this community, and this environment is a strong fit for them and why they, too, are a strong fit for it." Don Gaines, who was the director of undergraduate admission at Vanderbilt University, shares, "A common mistake I remember seeing was students using the supplemental questions to talk too much about their career ambition and not enough about what they hope to learn or be involved with at the college with asking the question. Often, the answers to these supplemental questions are more important than any other writing because the questions reflect something that's important to that school's community." So this kind of goes back to that idea of, don't just think about, okay, this is where I want to go in life, but also think about how a college experience will help deepen that passion, right? Focus on that moment in those 4 years. How will that change your passion and your curiosity? And finally, Rhiannon, who used to be an associate director at Tufts University, shares, "The supplement is an opportunity to help your reader understand why this particular school or program makes you excited. So don't squander the opportunity by repeating easy-to-Google facts. Instead, focus on the aspects that truly made you excited to rank this school. Authentic enthusiasm can be contagious." Now let's review what your options are following the match. If you do not match on December 1st, I first want to emphasize that not matching does not mean no. In fact, one of the unique aspects of the match is that you get the opportunity to apply to schools again. Whether that's through early admission opportunities uniquely available to students to finalists who ranked colleges, or by applying to any of the schools that you ranked and more through QuestBridge regular decision, you can still be admitted to QuestBridge College Partners, often with generous financial aid. Furthermore, QuestBridge finalists who matriculate to a QuestBridge College Partner join a supportive campus community through the QuestBridge Scholars Network. They receive access to summer professional experiences and career opportunities that are only available to QuestBridge scholars and alumni. And you can apply for those graduate school scholarships for MBA programs or medical school. Now, let's go more in depth on your options. One of the options that you'll have that may require more immediate attention or action is early admission processes after the match. So many of our college partners will allow you to apply through an early action or early decision application process. We encourage you to do your research ahead of time so that you know if you want to apply early action or early decision to any of the schools that you've ranked in the case that you do not match. For example, Boston University, Colorado College, Grinnell, and Williams all offer you the option to apply early decision to their school if you do not match. Nearly all of our schools offer additional options following the match. So if there's one school you are particularly set on attending, even if you don't match, I encourage you to explore this option. Many schools across the country are excited to build their future class during early admission processes, which include the match, early action, and early decision, and you may have higher chances of being admitted during one of these rounds. To learn more about what each school offers, explore our options following the match page on our website, which we'll share now in the chat as well. Your second option is to continue with QuestBridge regular decision. With this option, you would use the same application that you submitted in September to apply to any of the schools that you've ranked, as well as any of our 55 college partners. While you are no longer eligible to receive the match scholarship, which is the full 4-year scholarship, you can still receive generous financial aid, and you will have all of your application fees waived. Remember, QuestBridge regular decision is not binding, and similar to the match, all financial aid is determined and provided by the college partners. All right, now let's take some time to answer some common questions. So the first question is, I ranked colleges. How do I access a school's application portal to submit my match requirements? Not all schools will require materials to be submitted via an online application portal, but many of them will. And you'll receive instructions for accessing a college's application portal via the email that is associated with your QuestBridge application. If you don't regularly check this account or email, make sure to check it, as well as any spam or junk folders. If you feel like you aren't getting any emails, make sure that you don't have too many emails in your inbox. Sometimes the storage will run out, and so you'll stop receiving emails. So make sure that you delete some emails to make sure that there is room for you to receive them as well. Then you'll want to wait a few days for colleges to process your information and send these emails out. One thing to keep in mind is which email you use to create your QuestBridge account. Try to be consistent as you reach out to either QuestBridge or our college partners to make answering questions as easy as possible. If you have not heard from a college by October 24th, then you should reach out to the college directly to inquire about gaining access by emailing them using the same email and QuestBridge ID that is associated with your QuestBridge account. Note that if you did not rank colleges and are participating in QuestBridge regular decision, you'll begin to receive portal access a few days after December 11th. I've ranked colleges. What should I do if I cannot successfully submit all requirements to the colleges by November 1st? So this question is more general to all match requirements. If you are concerned about not being able to submit all materials to all of the schools that you've ranked by November 1st, you should reach out to the schools directly by emailing or calling if you can. There might be a specific QuestBridge contact that you can reach out to as well, and that's available on the contact information for each of our college partners at the bottom of their application requirements page. None of these materials are going to be submitted or evaluated by QuestBridge at this point, so communicate with the schools directly. Some schools may be flexible and accept later materials, but this will not be the case for every school. So it'll be really important that you prioritize this deadline and submit things as soon as you can. If you no longer wish to be considered for the match scholarship at a school, you'll need to revise your rankings by November 1st. All right. Do I have to submit the common or coalition application, and what admissions round should I select? So USC, as I mentioned earlier, is the only college partner that requires the common application as a match requirement. And to be specific, it is for portfolio-based programs in architecture, fine art, music, theater, and cinematic arts. If you rank this school, please submit the common application for them by November 1st if you are applying to those programs specifically. You will find instructions for what admissions round to select and how to receive the fee waiver on their application requirements page. Do not submit the Common App or Coalition application to other college partners. All right. And if you are not ranking colleges, you'll review each school's QuestBridge regular decision requirements to determine if a school requires a common application in addition to your QuestBridge application to be considered for regular decision. Some schools will require common app, some schools will not. So you'll need to review those QuestBridge regular decision requirements. Can I apply regular decision to non-QuestBridge college partners through the common application? Absolutely. We encourage you to be looking into and even start applying to other colleges outside of QuestBridge in the event that you do not match. Just keeping in mind that you will need to withdraw any submitted applications if you do match. All of our colleges are highly competitive, and we recognize that there are many great colleges that we don't partner with. So we want to make sure that you have that you are keeping your options open. Additionally, if you do not match, some schools may also require the common app for QuestBridge regular decision, like I mentioned before, so it might help to have it filled out already. You are welcome to use the same recommenders and essays that you use for your national college match application, but just make sure that your essays are still meeting any word count or prompt differences. All right. Who should I contact with questions about my match requirements or just other general questions? So first, just keep in mind that it will take a few days for colleges to send additional match requirement instructions. And if it's after October 24th, and if you rank colleges and you haven't heard from a school yet, you'll want to contact those schools directly. We'll share that link to the college partners contact information page in the chat again, and you'll be able to select the school that you are curious about, and it'll take you to their contact information page. Just know that these months, November through January and October as well, are going to be among a college partner's busiest time of year. So if you have questions, we encourage you to ask them ahead of time and avoid leaving things until, the day before the deadline, just because colleges and QuestBridge are just very, very busy at this time of year. And you can expect delayed response times. All right, now we know that these coming weeks may be very busy, but we do hope that come December 1st or later, it'll all be worth it. So here are some words of encouragement from one. QuestBridge is more than a scholarship. It's a community of like-minded individuals who I can relate and connect with. A big fear of mine was going to college feeling alone, but now I feel the opposite. I'm full of excitement for the opportunity to explore Nashville with a group of individuals who I can call friends. All right, and as a reminder, match day is December 1st, so it'll come up before you know it. And that is all for tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. Remember to reach out to us via email if you have any questions at questions@questbridge.org. Best of luck.